This will be my second order from these guys. I really like their t-shirts. You can get the basic tee bundle or the graphic tee bundle. This time I kept it simple and went with all black. But if you want, you have so many designs to choose from. Simply follow the link to get 10% off. Just like my first order, these fit incredible. They're super soft, super snug, and they're a bit stretchy, which they hug in the right areas. It's really nice. And they ship worldwide. Okay, so I know a lot of you have been anticipating this updated list, but I just haven't been doing so great at logos, to be honest. I've been going X2 and just missing it on top, going to get 9th place. But fortunately this week, I ended up breaking that streak. I ended up getting top 8. There was 5 runs of Swiss, then top cut. Run 1 was Labyrinth. Run 2 was Branded. Run 3 was Geist. Run 4 was Mathmech. Run 5 was Pearly. And in top 8, I ended up going up against Rika. And oh my god, I misplayed so much. I just don't want to talk about that. But let's just get straight into it. Alright, so you have Triple Adventure, Griffin, Rights, this, Faithful, and Dragoback. Okay, so typically I play Illegal and another Faithful. But in this build, I was trying out Fenrir's, and I didn't really want to draw a lot of like non-tuners compared to what I did in the past. Because prior to this list, I kept opening up so much adventure, like so much, whether it be a combination of double Enchantress, Rights, this, or double this, like just all this. And it was like, oh, it was really frustrating. So I was like, I'll cut back on it, you know, let's just see how it goes. But there's a lot of times where I did miss the second Faithful and Illegal Knight. I was about to go search for Illegal Knight. I was like, oh my god, it's not in here. It ended up ruining my play. I was like, oh my goodness, because I was conditioned. I've always played the Adventure Engine with Illegal Knight. So I've been conditioned to the point where like, okay, I was sequencing off. I was like, oh, hang on, I don't play Illegal Knight anymore. So I regret that decision. So I might put it back in. And then of course you have your Synchron. This is where it's different as well. I typically play this at 2, along with this and this and this. This is at 2, this is at 2. They're all 2. But for this particular build, it was influenced by what's been happening this past few weekends. I just saw this and none of this. It was really annoying. I was like, what the hell? And I'm on 52. So how does that make any sense, bro? This doesn't make any sense. I'm playing Souls, and the way the deck's built, I felt like Souls and this, another 2-card combo that can add consistency to the deck, so I ended up playing it. And if you do open it with Adventure, it's fine. Like, you can still do the weak line, which is with Riser, you know. But for the most part, it's mainly because of Souls. Because there's times where you open up Souls and Adventure, and you're trying to dig into a Synchron, right? So at that point, you have access to it, your Griffin, you have your token, and Souls, right? So then what happens is you pitch 2, draw 2, and hopefully you draw into him, or him, right? Preferably him or him, because that means you can normal summon this and then go to Excel, right? But this is the one that pairs with Souls the best, right? Because you just go Speeder there. You keep your token, you keep your Griffin negate, and you summon this, you know, and then you go Speeder negate, you know? And this one is at 1 because it doesn't really pair well with Fenrir. Like, it is like with your 7s, it doesn't really do anything. So I want to avoid that situation. And of course, Trail. Non-tuner engine, which is Fenrir's, Tengu. What happens going second is this is so vulnerable. If they interact with this, you're cooked. Because the rest of your hand might have been non-engine, like would it be like interactive cards like Book of Moons, Hand Traps, and any of the Synchrons, right? If they get rid of this, you're left with Synchrons and books. What the hell is that gonna do, bro? That's not gonna do anything. You're gonna lose. So that's where these come in, right? Because you can go special, search, summon this, overtake, and then you have this. Compared to just not having this and just having a bunch of Synchrons with nothing to do. This gives you a bit of resiliency going second. It's hard to do with this one. They have to like either spin it to the deck or banish it face down, you know? But if they destroy it, banish it, it'll float, right? And since I'm playing another card, it helps that situation, which is insane. You'll see when I get to it. The moment they try to negate your stuff, you spot removal, so it makes it kind of weird. Makes it kind of awkward how they interact with you. Because you can open up with this, right? Open this and Rev. Go Black Rose if you play Black Rose. And then go into right, you know? It's really nice. Souls package, because like I mentioned before, the way the deck's built, you kind of need to play this because it'll boost consistency by discarding the non-engine. And it just pairs well with Stardust because when you do draw two, it's the best one to draw. Because, like I mentioned before, if you have the token and Griffin, then you have an Omni, so you don't have to waste and synchro with them. So it just boosts the consistency in that regard. And then, of course, you have your tuning, you have your overtakes, and illumination, and foolish. Tuning, just too versatile to not play, you know. Initially, I was not playing this and this, because I cut it. I cut tunings, and I cut this, and I cut small world. Because I just hated losing to draw. Like, if you have this small world and enchantress, you get drolled, you lose. You lose. Like, what are you gonna do? You tuning, this is dead, small world's dead, enchantress is dead. Like, and I want to avoid that. But I was like, man, they're not always gonna have draw, bro. They're not always gonna have it, so well, let's just go for it. But there was a time where I had these two together, I'm like, and I got drolled, I was like, fucking hell, bro. It happened. But fortunately, I ended up winning that one because it was like a 50-50 choice whether he negated the jet effect. And if he didn't negate it, I won. But if he did, I lost. But yeah, it's pretty close. And this is where it's a bit different. This is why you're playing souls. Special traps. Because I'm not on hand traps. Triple econ, triple tactics talents. So this is the one that's kind of odd, right? But I just don't like how predictable the deck is sometimes. And having Fenrir, having Tengu makes it a little less predictable, right? Because of how I mentioned before, you can go summon, special, you can go battle phase, spot removal before anything. And then when you add these into the mix, it's insane. Well, these are just like, this is mainly for Purely, because I hated losing to Purely week after week. So I got to put the books, bro. I had to, because I wasn't playing the books. And I just started losing to Purely like left and right. It was really frustrating. So I was like, let's put the books back in. And they serve their purpose, which is quite nice. But this one in particular, this adds a really obscure situation going second, because not everyone's going to be prepared for this. Like, just taking control of their monsters and attacking with their monsters or using their effects is insane. Take their monster, attack with their monster, they interact with it. They're using their cards on their cards. Okay, chain yours, tribute their monster, take control of another monster. You know, like, just break their board apart. This is even better with speeder resolving. Like, if you go in second and you get to a point where you get the speeder and then you want to implement or Valor it, you just go, okay, econ, take. And it's going to resolve. Oh, it's so cool. And one of the cool things to do with this is taking Barons with this. Like, taking a Mirror Jade that's already banned. Just taking fusions, high-level fusions to make your Crimson Dragon with, to make a Baron with. And something that I really wanted to do, I didn't get to do, was like, taking a Baron during their draw phase and then tagging out the Baron for one of your guys. That's insane. Can you imagine that, bro? Like, how? That's an achievement unlocked, bro. In theory, it just adds a wild factor. You know, it's a surprise factor because they can't really prepare for it. And you don't mind taking their stuff because you tribute them off anyways, right? Like, you tribute their monster off of start of Synchron. Like, before you actually initiate your combo, you want to be able to bait back row, bait interactions, and these cards do that, right? This baits an Omni, forces an Omni, and then you take their card, attack, and then before you actually even activate, right? Or like when they try to interact with your token, you just tribute your token, right? Take control of their monsters. Like, sometimes you have like summon this, tribute, take their monster, pitch for this, Super Tengu, summon this, right? Summon this. Like, if you go special summon, they interact anything here, right? You chain and tribute the one they're targeting or whatever, and take control of their monster, and then, you know, stuff like that. I just like the option of being clever and outplay your opponent, because it's just, that's like fundamentally what Yugioh is meant to be. Like, setting up traps, them not knowing what you're trying to do, and that's exciting, you know. And I feel like this added that to the deck, and I really like that. I mean, you could just take this out and play a small world, you know, but because that's what it was. This is a small world at first. This is a small world. I was like, oh, let me just try this. And the good thing about this is that it pairs well with souls, because there are times where you draw like this and souls, and like, okay, I need to draw something, bro. So you go souls, pitch 2, you know, and then you can just tactics and draw 2 more, which is pretty insane. This is played because of this. Since you're playing this, you have to play this because you need something to draw off this side deck. You have your triple nib for when the books and econs are not great, right? You just put in hand traps, board breakers, you know. Same. Pretty generic. Then, of course, you have your extra deck, and you have your tokens, of course. This, oh my god, this killed me in top 8, bro. You have your Herald, Excel, Speeder, Jet Warrior, TG, Stardust Charge, Shooting Visor because you play Rev and Tengu, Stardust, Omega, Crystal Wing, and of course like your big boss monsters. Satellite Warrior, Baron, Bistio, and Christmas Dragon. You could play Calamity if you wanted to. You can cut TG in this, but I just felt like I like drawing, bro. I just books everywhere. Like Calamities is you know, if your combo resolved, fair enough. You can win it anyways. But that's basically the deck. Go ahead and try it out. Whether you want to try the Econ or not, it's just another wild card, just the price factor, and it did exactly what I hoped it would do, except not today, not yesterday. But that's gonna be it. Hopefully to the video. Like, subscribe if you have it, and thanks for watching.